Just before we go into the nitty-gritty, I'm very excited to say that we have more than 250 people participating in the hackathon. With more than 46 countries being represented, 16 time zones. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are at the moment. And we have kind of a geographical split. 46% are coming from Asia, 20% from Europe, 20% from America, 12% from Africa, and interestingly enough, we have like the third most represented country in the world is Nigeria, which is quite interesting, and 2% coming from Oceania, so Australia and New Zealand. Also, something that we found very pleasing is the fact that kind of 70% of all the registers have never submitted a hackathon project on DevPost. That's great because part of our motivation to do this and what drives us to do this is to bring more people to build new stuff and to build interesting stuff and to bring them onto kind of the Web3 world. So the fact that we have so many people that never did this is really exciting. The next couple of days will help you kind of come to understand what's the Web3 and how to develop for it and how to start building amazing things. On the other hand, you also have some very experienced co-participants. The top submitter already has 56 projects submitted on DevPost, which is amazing. So I think there's a fantastic opportunity for you to learn from each other. So let me just very briefly introduce you to Faber and kind of give you a glimpse of why we're doing this. So Faber is a Lisbon-based venture capital firm. We like to invest in outstanding entrepreneurs who are trying to innovate at the intersection of science and technology, people that are trying to drive digital transformation and climate action. The firm combines, the firm tends to be specialized, so we like specializing around specific themes. We like deep tech early stage startups, and to be able to cater to these different specialities, we create dedicated funds with dedicated investment teams, and we create expert advisory networks around those themes so that they can kind of not only help us, but also help the founders build global companies powered by AI, data, Web3, or climate/ocean. So this is Faber in a nutshell, and I don't want to bore you more with what we are. That's not why you're here. But I would love to invite Lucas to also introduce Protocol Labs and some of its main products.
Yeah, totally. So thank you. We're super happy to partner with you guys. I think it's a really good match. You mentioned deep tech, and that's what we're kind of all about, right? So these technologies that you're going to learn so much more about over the next 2 days, kind of at the bottom two on the right-hand side, IPFS and Filecoin, are what we're hoping your guys will use a lot, and that I think can bring a lot of these new ideas to life in AI, in data, and beyond, just important data sets. IPFS, maybe super briefly, and Konstantin and Nikki, who you will meet later, will talk about this in much more depth, is a peer-to-peer protocol making the web more upgradable, resilient, and secure. You can think of it as a peer-to-peer version of HTTP. So really, that's probably the best analogy. And then Filecoin builds on top of IPFS and is a decentralized storage to store humanity's most important information. And you can think of it kind of like an Airbnb for storage. And the crazy thing is, like, we launched the Filecoin mainnet in October 2020 and have since grown to 18 million terabytes of capacity. So if you think like you need some storage for your project, like, you're definitely in the right place, and there's tons of opportunity. IPFS and Filecoin are both open source, community-led projects with contributors from all over the world, and I welcome you guys to become a few of them. I actually work for a company called Protocol Labs, which is an open source research and development lab that builds protocols such as IPFS and Filecoin, and also a whole range of other tools and services that improve the internet. Yeah, once again, super excited to partner with Faber. I think it's a great match, and I'm excited to see what you guys will build with these technologies.
Fantastic, thank you, Lucas. Before we start hacking, let me kind of give you a little bit around the ground rules, do's and don'ts, and not just rules, but also some suggestions based on what we've seen in previous events. So first of all, you don't need to have a team. You can work solo. Having said that, we do have seen that diverse teams tend to be more successful. Teams that are composed of people from different geographies with different skill sets and can look at problems from different angles, end up being kind of better at adapting to the different problems that they face. So just kind of a suggestion, if you can kind of put together a strong team with diverse individuals, I think your odds to succeed are going to be better. Also a note on Discord, make sure you join us on the Faber Discord server. Most of the kind of real-time and dynamic communication is going to happen there. You can go to kind of our official website at faberweb3.devpost.com. You'll find the link to join Discord there under resources. There are a number of other resources there as well. But on Discord, we'll be kind of communicating in real time, and we'll be able to support you more closely. Just a note to say that you are going to need to submit new projects or new additions to already existing projects. So something that you already have laying there for a couple of years and you haven't touched and you just want to submit now will not be accepted. We want you to develop new stuff. And if you're developing new stuff to things that you're already been working on, you need to be explicit about what you're adding and how that builds onto the already existing project. Otherwise, we won't be able to accept it. Having said that, we do encourage you to build on top of already existing open source libraries or projects. I think that 1 month is a good amount of time, but at the end of the day, we're looking for outstanding projects, and you're going to have you're going to feel like the time won't be enough. So don't waste that time reinventing the wheel. If it's already out there and if you can build on top of it, please do. That's what open source is all about. If you have questions, ask. Feel free to reach out. You can find the full set of rules on our website. As I said, faberweb3devpost.com/rules. Be sure to read them before making the final submission. We don't want situations where you have like this amazing project and you kind of think you have everything nailed down and we're very excited about it, and then we can't accept it because you missed some rule or you didn't submit something that you should have submitted. So be sure to read through them. A few more notes regarding your interactions with other participants and also with the Faber team and the Protocol Labs team. Be respectful. We're all in this because we love what we do and we love the community, and it's all about collaboration and building together. So abusive behavior will not be tolerated. If you need help because you feel like you're being abused or harassed in some way, feel free to reach out to any of the Faber team or Protocol Labs team member on Discord, and we'll be sure to help you. And then kind of probably the most important rule of all, have fun. I mean, you're in this to have a great experience, to learn, to experiment, to build awesome projects. So this is kind of pointless if you're not having fun in the process. So make sure that you have fun and make sure that others have fun when they're using your products. Now, talking about the logistics. So I've already mentioned the website. That's going to be the source of truth. So if someone tells you something about the rules or something about the process and it's not on the website, or it contradicts what's on the website is right. If you have doubts, ask us. If there's a mistake in the website, we'll update it. But the website is the source of truth. Again, Discord server. You can discuss projects. You can chat on the hashtag Hackathon chat channel. You can find a team if you're still looking for team members. I know that a lot of you still don't have a team. That's absolutely fine. We're going to help you set up a team. You may have a team and you don't have the idea. We're going to help you with that as well. But one of the places where you can get help with that is again on Discord. And then you have the Hackathon support channel where we'll be there to provide any support you need or answer any questions that you may have, both from a technical perspective or from a logistics perspective or admin perspective. So any of the moderators or admins can help you. All the resources and as I said, the invite to the Discord channel is on our website. Before submitting, again, I cannot stress this enough. Before submitting your project for the final time, be sure to check if you've included everything, okay? Read the rules again, make sure that the submission is valid. And also, if you want to be eligible for the business awards, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few slides, be sure to include your business one-pager. We're not looking for a business plan. We're not looking for a detailed go-to-market strategy. We don't expect you to know it all. What we want to see is a glimpse of how you see your project becoming a business. What's your vision? How do you want to reach the market? We know that you're just at the start. That's absolutely fine, but we want to have a glimpse of what you're projecting going forward. This is the beginning of the hacking period. The hackathon is open officially from now onwards. You can start submitting your projects from February 21st all the way to March 18. March 18th will be the last day. We'll then, both Faber and Protocol Labs will get together and select the top 10 projects. Those top 10 projects will be presented to the jury and the jury will decide on the winners. We're expecting to announce the winners around April 4th. You should have already have seen the program for the event. If you haven't, you have it here. I'm not going to go into detail, but there are some amazing sessions coming up. Lots of really good information, both for people that are already active programming in Solidity or on the blockchain, but also for people that are just starting with the distributed web and Web3. I think there's a bit for everyone, so be sure to attend. I think the sessions are going to be really good. And part of the reason why the sessions are going to be really good is not just the content, is because we have this amazing set of speakers that are going to be spending some of their time with you guys, helping you in different ways. Lucas, do you want to help me here and kind of introduce some of the Protocol Labs speakers?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, as Carlos said, a few really experienced folks who know these technologies really well and who will hopefully inspire you to kind of build your next project. We also, let me start with Ian there. He's the head of our recruiting team. And we have a panel tomorrow on career in Web3 and how to get started. And Ian will be able to share his perspective and discuss it with other panelists. So super excited for that. Konstantin, who you will meet in just a few minutes, is a startup operator at Falcon and IPFS. And he will be introducing these technologies to you and give you a little bit of a tour and a demo across different things. And then Alison will join us tomorrow. She's a dev advocate from Australia, and she will do some live coding. So if you're interested in really getting into it and asking a few very practical questions, we have the session with Ali for that.
And then you have Tiago's co-founder and CTO of Polkastarter. Is going to do a presentation on the state of DeFi and focusing on what you can leverage to build on DeFi and to enter that space as a developer. I think that's going to be a really interesting session. And then we're going to have Pedro from Talent Protocol and Enrique from Dune Analytics. They're going to be talking in the same session as Ian about their experience of coming from Web 2 and having Pedro, who started a business on Web 2 and now moved to Web 3 to start Talent Protocol, and Enrique, who had an outstanding career as a developer and researcher in kind of Web 2 and more traditional companies like Microsoft and so on, and has now become one of the senior developers at Dune Analytics. So they're going to be talking a little bit about how they went from transitioning from one to the other and what do they see as kind of being the steps to be taken if someone wants to do that transition as well. Lucas?
Whoops, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, no, and then we have Ruben, who is helping coordinate our entire accelerator program, and Carlos will talk about this, I'm sure, a little bit. But the hackathon is really just the beginning of the journey, and we hope that many of you submit projects and then take those projects and like turn them into real startups. And Ruben will kind of on tomorrow talk about what makes a great pitch, right? So Carlos was mentioning the business one-pager. Ruben will add some color around that and maybe give you some ideas on like what are the questions to answer when you write something like that to just really develop a great pitch. Patrick will talk about retrieval markets, which is kind of a deep dive on one specific aspect of Filecoin. And he is super knowledgeable about this, and that's just like a very technical session that we have later today. And then Nikki will be joining Konstantin when we're doing the introduction to IPFS and Filecoin and answer questions and introduce these technologies. And then David tomorrow will wrap up and kind of talk about broaden the aperture and like open the angle a little bit and talk about Web3 and the opportunities that provides.
Thank you, Lucas. So let me just very quickly go over the submissions guidelines. Again, this doesn't replace you reading the rules. I'm being picky about it because I want to make sure that you guys get everything right. But basically what we're looking for is a summary of your project features and functionality, understand what have you implemented, a non-private URL, so a public URL, make sure that the URL is public to the functioning application, otherwise we won't be able to judge it. Also include a demo video of the project, maximum duration 3 minutes. I advise you to focus on the first minute. That first minute is critical. You should kind of bias into what you've built with the first minute and then explain a little bit more in the last 2 minutes. Every project must have a README document with information on how to use it, how to test it, like kind of the main details of how we can validate that project. You must not use any third-party trademarks or copyrighted music. As I said, open source is fine, and we strongly incentivize you to use it, but anything that is trademarked or proprietary cannot be used. And again, it must be original work of the submitter. Again, for the business award, one pager with a presentation of the team members and backgrounds, business opportunity, potential market, and go-to-market strategy. Again, very high level. You don't need to kind of have all of these. You don't need to have all of these kind of already defined. If you need to define it better, we may be able to help you in the accelerator. So we'll be, as Lucas was saying, we're going to be announcing a Filecoin Faber accelerator in the next coming weeks. It's going to be a 3-month program. And we expect some of these business award winners to be part of that accelerator program. And there we can help you kind of polish all of these up and kind of create an amazing startup and go to market. So basically, and this is really important, be bold about what you're going to build. Try to make an impact, drive change. I think this is a really good opportunity to ignore the downside and just focus on the upside. You have absolutely nothing to lose by participating in this hackathon. Worst case scenario, you'll learn something, and that's always useful, but you have everything to gain. So you can really kind of go out there and kind of try to build the best thing you can build and try to make it as impactful as possible. To make sure that you don't waste your time, we have a pool of an award that's going to be split between all valid submissions. So if you submit a valid project, you're going to get an award. So there's really nothing to lose. So let's talk about the prizes. I'm going to be very brief about this. There's going to be 3 first places: first place, second place, third place. These are kind of the grand awards. We're going to have like 3 business awards as well. These can be accumulated, so you can win the first place award and also a business award. So they're not exclusive. And then you have, as I said, a pool of 15,000 euros in fill that's going to be split between all eligible projects. I know that Protocol Labs is also ready to kind of give some swag to the participants. Lucas, do you want to very briefly talk about that as well?
Totally, and you guys will see it. So if you engage and if you ask questions and kind of are on the Discord and do what you can to kind of help each other and all of that, and when we see some great engagement, you are eligible for swag pretty much immediately, and we will make that available to you by kind of sending you a code. And you can redeem that on redeem.protocol.ai, and you can get one of those nice t-shirts that I'm wearing, and there's a couple of other things there as well. So like, do use that, like, have fun with this all, right? Like the money is the one thing, and it is a lot, and I hope that we have some like successful submissions here, but it is also about meeting all those other people. It's about educating yourself, and it's about kind of starting this journey that, who knows, could take you to, in a year from now, maybe when we do the second version of this, you'll be one of the speakers and you'll talk about, the successful startup that you built in the past 12 months. And that's not just like some dreamy maybe scenario, like we see that all the time, right? So at Protocol Labs, we run a lot of hackathons, and I'm super happy every time, I see a small team that like found each other in a random obscure hackathon, and then they grew and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business, or raised the funding to really keep growing. So this is really just the beginning, and with the Faber team, you have an excellent partner to kind of like help you on this growth journey. So I'm excited to see what you will build.
And I'll be sure to be very active because I want some of that swag as well. So last but not least, I'm just going to very briefly talk about the judging criteria. So we're going to be looking at design, both UX and kind of look and feel of your project. We want it to look good and be easy to use. Technical accomplishment, as I said, we're a fund that it loves deep tech projects. So we like good coders, we like good engineers, we like good code being done. So that's going to be one of the things that both we and Protocol Labs and the judges are going to be looking at. Novelty and originality. We want you to, as I said, be bold, create new things. be original, and kind of try to make an impact. So impact is another thing that we're going to measure. But as I said, creativity and fun, not just for you, but for the people using your project. We want them to smile when they're using whatever you develop. We want them to feel good about it. We want them to be happy. So all of these judging criteria have the same weight. And we're going to be looking at projects that can kind of hit all the marks on these ones. So without further ado, I think this kind of covers the basics.